Tes. Kedengaran je suaraku?
Ya, kedengaran ya. Yes.
Boleh, Midi. Oke, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam
First
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
First of all, let's thanks to Allah who has give mercy and blessing so we can meet together in this meeting. Second, don't forget to send salawat and salam to our Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. In this meeting, we will talk about question about section 2 or part 1 about understanding the concept of discourse analysis. For the first, I would like to introduce me, Fadila Nurdin, as the moderator, and there is Nuril Mihanaping, Andi Noratia, Andi Astrid Anissa, and Putri Nur. The first question, why should we learn the genesis of discourse analysis? Please explain your answer. For Andi Astrid, what is your statement? What is your answer about this question?
Okay, thank you for the chance. The urgency that we have to learn about the genesis of discourse analysis, because the discourse analysis is a crucial as it offers a valuable understanding of the theoretical, historical, and methodological underpinnings that support the field. So knowing the genesis of discourse analysis help academic to place current arguments, approach, and theoretical frameworks within the larger context of the field's growth. I think that's all for my answer. I return to moderator.
Okay, thank you for your answer. And next, the second question is, do you agree with saying that that the development of discourse analysis theory is strongly influenced by the developments of linguistic theories? Why? Please explain the reasons for your position. For Nur Ilmi Hanaping, what is your answer?
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. My answer is yes. I agree that the development of discourse analysis theory is strongly influenced by the developments of linguistic theories. This is because discourse analysis emerged as a subtitle of linguistics and draw heavily on linguistic theories to analyze language use in context. As linguistic theories evolve, discourse analysis theory also adapt and incorporates new perspectives and methodologies to better understand language in use. Maybe that's all from me. I will return to the moderator.
Moderator, sorry, tak mutki.
Okay, we move to the third question. What do you know of traditional grammar theory? Please explain your answer to this question by referring to these things. I will answer this question. What is traditional grammar theory? Traditional grammar theory is a perspective approach to understanding language structure and usage. It focuses on establishing rules and conventions for correct language usage rather than describing how language is actually used in everyday communication. And part B, what is the main principle of this theory? The main principle of the traditional grammar theory is prescriptivism. Prescriptivism dictates that there are correct and incorrect ways to use language, and it emphasizes adherence to established rules and conventions. In traditional grammar theory, the main principle is to provide guidelines for how language should be used correctly. Part C, what do teachers who adopt the principle do in teaching a language? The teachers practices memorization, explicit grammar instruction, translation exercises, and error correction. Part D, what are the products of this theory? Product of traditional grammar theory include grammar books, like traditional grammar theories often lead to the creation of grammar books that regularly outline grammatical rules, language structure, and vocabulary. And teaching materials. Traditional grammar theory informs the development of teaching materials such as worksheets, handouts, and outline resources, and language tests and assessment. Part E, what is the main shortcoming of this theory? One of the main weaknesses of traditional grammar theory is its tendency to prioritize correctness and appropriateness over effective communication and use of language in real-world context. Part F, what are grammar translation method and its relation to traditional grammar theory? The grammar translation method is a language teaching approach that emphasizes memorizing grammar rules, vocabulary, and translation exercises. This is closely related to traditional grammar theory, as both approaches prioritize the study and application of grammatical rules in language learning. We move to the question 4. What do you know of structuralism theory? Please explain your answer to this question by referring to these things. For Nuril Mihanaping, what is your answer about this question?
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. My answer is the first. What is structuralism theory, and what does the Saussure say about the structure of language? Structuralism theory, especially in the context of linguistics, is a theoretical framework that focuses on the analysis of the structure and system underlying language. And then Ferdinand de Saussure, a Swiss linguist, proposed a structuralized approach to the study of language. At the heart of his theory is the idea that language should be examined as a system of interconnected elements and not as a collection of individual words or sounds. And next, the next question, what are the main principles of this theory? The main principle of Ferdinand de Saussure's structuralism theory in linguistics include language as a system. Saussure proposed that language should be studied as a structured system consisting of interrelated elements, not as a random collection of individual words or sounds. And next, the arbitrariness of the sign. Saussure introduced the concept of sign components. The signifier and the signified. He argued that the relationship between the signifier or the physical form of a word or sound and the signified or the mental concept or meaning associated with the form is arbitrary. Next, synchronic analysis. Saussure advocated studying the language synchronically, meaning at a particular point in time, rather than diachronically or across time. And next, the next question: what is informant method and what is its relationship to the structuralism theory? The informant method, also known as introspection or introspective method, involve collecting linguistic data by obtaining introspective judgments from native speaker of a language. In this method, informants are asked to reflect on their own language use, providing insight into their linguistic institutions, perception, and judgments about the structure and use of their language. The relationship between the informant method and structuralism theory lies in their shared emphasis on understanding the underlying structure of language. And the next question, what are the characteristics of the method? The characteristics of the informant method include: the first, subjective data collection. The informant method relies on collecting subjective data through introspection and self-reporting from native speakers or language users. And next, qualitative approach. Typically use a qualitative research approach which focus on gathering rich descriptive insight rather than quantitative measurements. Next, interview or questionnaire. Research conduct interview or provide questionnaires to collect data directly from informants. And the next, linguistic institution insight. This method aims to capture the informant's linguistic intuition, perception, and judgment about the structure, use, and variation of language. And next, flexible and contextual informants response are contextualized according to their linguistic and socio-cultural background, allowing research to understand how language function in different contexts. And the last, complementary to other methods. The informant method is often used in conjunction with other research methods, such as observation or experimental study, to provide a more comprehensive understanding of language structure and use. And the next question, what is the main shortcoming of this theory? One of the main weaknesses of structuralism theory, especially in the field of linguistics, is its tendency to oversimplify and ignore the dynamic and complex nature of language. And the last question, what is error analysis and what is its relation to the structuralism theory? Error analysis is a linguistic approach that focuses on identifying and analyzing error made by language learners to understand the cause and patterns of this error. It emerging as a method of language assessment and pedagogy in the mid 20th century, particularly in the field of second language acquisition. Maybe that's all from me. I will return to the moderator.
Okay, thank you for your answer. And next, we move to the last question. What do you know of structuralism theory? Please explain your answer to this question by referring to these things. Please answer. Please, what is your answer, Andi Astrid?
Okay, thanks. Thank you for the opportunity. So based on the references that I got, especially the material from Mr. Kahar, the question is, what do you know of structuralism theory? Please explain your answer to this question by referring to these things. A. What is functionalism theory and what does Chomsky say about language? So, Chomsky claimed language as a habit structure taught by presenting stimulus and response, reinforcement, and association. B. What are the differences between Chomsky's views and Himes' about language? So the answer, Chomsky points that language is governed by innate cognitive structures and universal grammar principles, which enable humans to generate an infinite variety of grammatically correct sentences. But in contrast, Delheims emphasized the social and cultural dimensions of language use. C. The question C. What is the main principle of this theory? So the main principle of functionalism theory is that language serves communicative purposes, allowing individuals to convey meaning and achieve social goals through verbal interaction. Question point D. What is CLT method and its relation to the functionalism theory? CLT method, or communicative language teaching, is prioritize real-life communication and meaningful interaction in language learning, is closely aligned with functionalism theory. And the last point of this question, what the relationship between discourse analysis and functionalism theory? So, discourse analysis examines language use in social contexts, exploring how language functions to negotiate meaning. And the connection between the functionalism theory is, this is an example of the action by the study of language variation and its social functions. Okay, I think that's all my answer for the fifth question. And next I return to moderator.
Okay, thank you for all the answer, guys, and thank you for your participation. And I hope this meeting and our discussion will be benefit for us. Let's recite. Let's close this meeting with reciting hamdalah. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. And wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.